Welcome back to Piano Player Reacts. Today we're going to be reacting to Dire Straits playing Lady Writer live in 1979. Dire Straits is one of my favorite bands. This might be my favorite Dire Straits song. I prefer their earlier albums to their later stuff, but I love watching these concerts from the 70s, right? Like there are so many great, there's Rock Palast, right? There's the Midnight Special. I love all the famous TV shows back in the day that would play like, all the biggest bands and stuff like that on TV. I love watching this stuff. It's one of my favorite things to do, and there's so much to watch, right? Each one of these shows basically has like a whole giant catalog of different shows you can watch. Like for example, also, what is it called? I can't remember off the top of my head. But Johnny Carson, right? Carson, all those shows like that, they all have like a lot of different shows you can watch of people back then. All right, before I talk too much, let's get into this a little bit.
Here's a beat group song now. Lady Writer.
All right, just from that, I wanted to start off by saying, so one thing that's great about songs from the 60s and 70s is that like a lot of them have great intros, right? I don't think there's an era of music like the 60s and 70s that has more great song intros than those two decades. Like this song right here, a lot of Dire Straits songs, it doesn't just get right into it. There's a nice intro. And a lot of music today doesn't really have that. A lot of songs today, songs in general, no matter what decade we're talking about, it usually goes right into the song, right? But a big musical trope from the 60s and 70s, if you notice, is having a really catchy intro. To me, what this song reminds me of is Reeling in the Years by Steely Dan. It's very similar to that, where basically the intro and the chorus are the same. Now this isn't exactly intro and chorus are the same, but it is similar. And Reeling in the Years has that same really catchy intro with the guitar, right? So many great songs from the 70s have great intro chords that have like a really catchy guitar that plays over it. So, that's really awesome, but let's keep going here. Let's listen to that one more time. Check out his picking. Check out his picking live in this video. It's so impressive how he plays. It really is incredible. He has such a unique way of playing. And if you think about it, as strange as it looks, although I'm mainly a piano player, I do play some guitar, and I like to play the way he plays. I find it to be easier to play that way than to play with a pick or to strum with your hand, because you basically you set your hand over the strings like this, right? And you kind of claw your hand at the strings. So not only is it a strange way of playing, but it's a very effective way of playing, because when you play more with a claw hand where you're picking up and down, one thing I always think with him also is Toy Caldwell from Marshall Tucker Band, right? There are not a lot of great guitar pickers. Most of them play with picks, right? But there are some, and I think the two best are Mark Knopfler and Toy Caldwell. If you haven't listened to Toy Caldwell, go listen to him. His style is very similar to Mark Knopfler. It's that country, twangy, bluesy, picky. The notes are so bright and clear because they're picking them with like a claw angle form of hitting the strings. But on that note, listen to that intro one more time with the picking.
Here's a beat group song now. Lady Writer.
Yep. See, when you're playing like that, just like Toy Caldwell, you're primarily picking with these two fingers. These three fingers really, but these two fingers are basically doing most of the work. That's really where you're getting, it's almost like you're playing the bass on a guitar. It really is very similar. Instead of strumming or using a pick, you're relying on the power of these two fingers. But let's keep going.
Lady right there on the TV, talking about the Virgin Mary, reminding me of you. Expectation left to come on too, yeah. Lady right there on the TV, yeah, she had another quality, the way you used to love. And I know you never read a book.
Okay, and this part shows something also that I think is very interesting. Just like Toy Caldwell, these guitar players who primarily work with these three fingers, right? When they play rhythm and they strum chords, it's always very jazzy and beautiful, because obviously there's a big difference from playing a chord with a pick than playing a chord with your open hand. I prefer the open hand sound. I think it sounds really bright, and it really allows all the strings to kind of buzz and ring at the same time. I just think playing guitar in general sounds a lot better when you're using your open hand than with a pick. To me, a pick adds a lot of muddling and a lot of muting, and I think watch the way he strums right here. Watch the way he strums, like almost like classical Spanish music style, how he strums the chords in this part. Toy Caldwell does the same thing, and it gives like that bright, luscious, almost like acoustic guitar feel and sound, but like on an electric guitar. So let's keep going here.
Hung down around the face. Then I recall my fall from grace. Another time, another place. Lady right there on the TV, she had all the brains and the beauty. Picture does not fit. You told me when you fell.
Okay, another thing I wanted to say. This song is also an example of how the hook is in the chorus, right? A lot of songs do this really interesting thing where, the hook is in the verse, where you'll have a chorus after the verse, right? You know what I mean? But the hook won't actually be in the chorus itself. The hook comes once you go back to the original verse. Like he says Lady Writer in the hook, Lady Writer, when they go back to the original verse. A lot of songs do this. That's a very interesting technique to use in composition, right? To like write a really catchy intro, verse, chorus, right? But instead of putting the main punch or the roll credits, sing the title of the song in the chorus, you do it once you go back to the main verse. And what also happens usually when you do that is a guitar solo happens. So you'll sing the catchy part in the verse, you'll play a guitar solo over the verse, and then you go right back into the verse again. Or you can go into the chorus after that. This song just shows you that writing really quick moving songs is just great. And there's so many techniques for doing this. There's so many techniques for like, where do you put the catchy part? What does the chorus sound like? Are you going to say the name of the song? There's so much you can learn from these 70s songs in terms of writing really short, sharp, catchy tunes. But let's keep going here.
Like it now, away her hair hung down around her face. Then I recall my fall from grace. Another time, another place.
Okay, see right there, as we can see, it says the actual chorus is the catchy part is another time, another place. But then it doesn't right here. Right here it goes to the bridge. But the first time it goes back to the verse. See, it goes another time, another place, and lady writer on the TV, right? So the catchy part, the hook, is in the verse. And that's so satisfying to hear. It's such a great thing to hear. And once you hear it in a million songs, right? The chorus, that you think this is the catchy part, but then it goes back to the verse, and then boom, that's the catchy part. It's the title of the song. It's just such an interesting technique in like more pop music, rock composition. But this is a really good bridge in this song also. Let's keep going here.
A rich old man, you know, we call her a dead ringer. You got the same command because your mother was a jazz singer.
That's one of my favorite lines in any song ever. You've got the same command because your mother was a jazz singer. I don't even know what he's talking about exactly, you know, but I just love those lyrics. You've got the same command because your mother was a jazz singer. That's just such, it's such great lyrics. There's that claw hand. See, look at the claw hand. Look at the claw hand. See, just like Toy Caldwell, the hand is at an angle over the strings, over the fretboard, right? And you're mainly using these three fingers. It's such, a lot of Delta blues guitar players actually use the same technique. I don't know where him and Toy Caldwell learned how to do that from, but a lot of Delta blues players in the 30s and 40s also use the same claw angled hand technique. And it's just like a natural feeling way to put your hand, you know, over the strings itself. But let's keep going. Sorry to keep pausing, but I'll say this also. That's my favorite guitar. I mean, it's not even close. That's my favorite guitar. I'm not even really a guitar player, but if I were to buy an electric guitar, it would be that. The red with the white, with the brown fretboard. I don't think, for me, it doesn't get better. And for sound, it doesn't get better. I know people say that Fenders sound dry, right? But that's what I love about them. I feel like Fenders sound better in recordings. I feel like Les Pauls and other thicker sounding, smoother sounding guitars, I feel like they kind of melt into the recording and kind of melt into the mixing. But I feel like when you hear songs in which someone is using a drier tone on a drier sounding guitar, like Fender Stratocaster, I think it's a Strat, right? I'm not, don't call me out in the comments. Whatever kind of Fender guitar that is, I think it's a Strat, right? It just sounds better to me. I like the dry. Hendrix had a drier tone. Not always, but Hendrix had a drier tone a lot of the times because the Strat and the Fender that he would use. I love it. To me, it pierces through the recording. It pierces through it. You know what I mean? I mean, there's pros and cons, but I love the sound of it really coming through. You know what I mean? The music coming above the bass and the drums. It just sounds really great to me. But let's keep going.
And I recall my Paul from Grace. Another time, another place.
See, we hear it right there. Another time, another place, and then it heads back again.
Lady writer on the TV.
See, you're expecting the catchy part to be right there, but it's not. Instead, it's the another time, another place, and then it goes back to the verse, and then that's where the hook is. So it shows you that you can put the hook of the song either in the verse or the chorus. I mean, hell, there are even songs that put the hook in the bridge of the song, right? So it just shows how much you can do. There's just so many interesting things you can do to a song. So many different ways you can write a song. Also, look at how short this song is. This song is only 3 minutes and 48 minutes. 3 minutes and 48 seconds. That is what I love about this era of music. There's just so much in just 3 or 4 minutes. Steely Dan is like that, right? Steely Dan, it's almost insane how much Steely Dan and Dire Straits were able to put into 3 or 4 minute songs. There's so much. There's so many movements. There's so many chords. There's so much rhythm. There's just a lot going on. It's really incredible.
She knew all about a history. Couldn't only write your name. I think I want just the same as a lady writer on the TV. Talking about a Virgin Mary. Well, oh yeah, you know I'm talking about a lady writer on the TV. Lady writer on the TV. Take it up now. Lady writer on the TV.
Now, one thing that I have read about Dire Straits, which I think is really interesting, is the fact that after the second album, him and his brother never worked with each other again, which is really crazy to me. I mean, I've always thought about how, like, it must have been hard for... It's kind of messed up to say this. I don't know what Mark Knopfler's brother's name is, right? I don't know what his name is, but... And correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but yeah, after the second album, they didn't work together again after that. And all their great albums after that was just Mark Knopfler and the other original guys, not his brother. So that must have been really hard for his brother. I mean, can you imagine starting a band with your brother and then, like, for literally the rest of your life, you have to hear those songs? I mean, every time he hears Walk of Life or whatever, it can't be easy, you know, especially because he didn't have a successful career like Dire Straits did. And it just goes to show you how much people fight with each other, because you think they would, as brothers, be able to, you know, work together with each other and put their differences apart and whatever, you know. I guess maybe he wasn't happy that Mark Knopfler did everything, because, you know, he's a genius. He basically wrote all the songs and the lyrics and everything, I'm pretty sure. And so, but that's one thing I always think about with them. I'm like, man, that had to be tough. That could not have been an easy thing to, every time you turn the radio on, your brother's success is just being pushed in your face. But let's finish the song here.
About a Virgin Mary. Well, oh yeah, you know I'm talking about a lady writer on the TV. Lady writer on the TV. Take it over. Lady writer on the TV. Lady writer. Lady writer on the TV.
All right, we got to see that again. That solo right there is just, look at this picking. Look at this picking. And it's so interesting because, again, it reminds me of a lot. He must have listened to a lot of blues albums from the 40s and 50s, right? You know what I mean? Scratch my back, baby. You know, like, there's, it's called Chicken Picking, right? There's a song called Chicken Picking, I'm pretty sure. There's a lot of different blues songs based around the idea of chicken picking, right? When you pick the guitar like that, it kind of sounds like a chicken. You know what I mean? So that's chicken picking. He's doing blues chicken picking. One bourbon, one scotch, one beer. That's chicken picking, right? You know, the middle of that song, that solo, when the part sounds really screechy, is chicken picking. And so let's watch that again. That's just so genius. Such a genius guitar player.
Talking about a Virgin Mary. Well, oh yeah, you know I'm talking about a lady writer on the TV. Lady writer on the TV. Take it over. Lady writer on the TV. Lady writer. Lady writer on the TV.
Incredible. Incredible. Okay, I guess final thoughts here. Well, he's just such an amazing guitar player, and there's just so much in this song. You know what I mean? There's so much power and just this song, there's so much jazz and blues in Dire Straits. It's so weird. It's like, it's if you think about it, if you took away Mark Knopfler's guitar playing, it would just, the music wouldn't be the same. Like his guitar playing, his blues picking is really what to me brings all their music, is what brings their music together, is like the cement that holds all their songs together. If you took out his guitar playing and his singing, his voice is incredible. I mean, he's not Michael McDonald. He's not an amazing singer, but he has an incredible sounding voice. You know what I mean? He has a very unique, raspy sounding voice. But all right, that's all we got for this video, guys. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Coolie Baba. I'm a piano player. I write music. The name of my music is Coolie Baba. That's what I've titled it. You can listen to my music on Spotify. You can also listen to my songs here on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Please check my music out, and I'll see you next time on Piano Player Reacts.